Hi Year 1, Miss Cox here, and it's my job this week to talk you through the maths activities and maths learning this week. And we're going to be focusing on fractions. So this is going to be an introduction to fractions as we've never taught it in Year 1, and it's unlikely in early years you had a lot of experience of it. So we're going to really walk you through it this week and give you some fun activities to have a go at to learn about fractions. Now, just like with the English, I'm going to share a screen and talk you through the activities and the learning that we're going to do. So I'm going to do that now. And this would be a really good time if you haven't already got any, go and get yourself a pen and paper because we're going to be doing some number formations. So if you need to pause me, now's a good time to do that. Okay, so we're going to be thinking about the numbers that we form, that sometimes we can form the wrong way round. And this week we're going to be thinking about number 5 and number 3 because they're normally the numbers we find, us teachers find, that get flipped around the wrong way. So we've got a rhyme we're going to go through with you that you can say over and over again, and then you can have a go. We're going to give you a couple of minutes to have a go at forming these numbers. So for a number 5, we go down and around and flag on high. That's the way we make a 5. Now, obviously, my 5 is not as good as your 5 is going to be because I'm doing it with a pen. So I'm going to try that again. Okay, see if I can do it a little bit better. Okay, so while I'm just rubbing mine out, you can be saying down and around, a flag on high. That's the way we make a 5. Okay, let's see if I can do it a bit better. So down, around, let's see if I can stay in the lines, down, around, and flag on high. That's the way we make a 5. So have a couple of minutes now, pause me, have a couple of minutes just doing a whole row of 5s, and your grown-ups can check that you're going down and around and flag on high. That's the way we make a 5. Okay, well, I hope you had a really good time doing your number formation, and I can't wait to see, and your grown-ups can't wait to see all those number 5s are written the right way around. Now, in every single maths lesson this week, we're going to have a little bit of what we call fluency. Now, these are just little games and activities that help us keep on top of that number. Really important counting, ordering numbers, making sure we know some addition and subtraction facts. So every day we're going to do a little game, a little activity at the beginning of the maths session, just to practice those things. Now, this is a really fun game that you can play together, and it's called Number Web. So I'm just going to move me down here so that I'm not in the way of the numbers. And the idea is that you get a piece of paper and you write all the numbers from 0 up to 20, all dotted around all over the place, okay? And then we're going to do an activity with them, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to make a spider's web. And the way you make your spider's web is you start at 0, and then, so if I get my pen, I'll show you. So here we go. So I'm going to start at 0 and then I'm going to count all the way up to 20 using my pen. So I'm going to start on 0. Oh, I'm going to go across to 1. Oh, then where do I need to go next? After 1 comes 2, and then 3, and then over to 4. And then, oh, can I find 5? What comes after 4? 1 more than 4 is 5. 1 more than 5 is 6. 1 more than 6 is 7. So as you can see, I've started to make my web. And what I'd like you to do now is you can pause me and you can make this yourself. So get yourself on a piece of paper, you write all the numbers up 0 to 20, all dotted around, or maybe a grown-up could do it for you. And then you're going to, almost like a dot to dot, you're going to start on 0 and you count from 0 up to 20, and you can see what your number web looks like. Now, there's lots of different things you can do with this number web, because if you know that you're really good at counting from 0 to 20, you might want to start on 20 and count back to 0. If you're really good at counting forwards and backwards to 20, you might know how to count up in 2s, or maybe you're starting to count up in 2s together. So maybe you could just go up in steps of 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 to get to 20. Lots of different things you can do with this activity. So choose a level that's good for you. You can either go from 0 and count up to 20, and you could start at 20 and count back to 0, or you can count up in steps of 2. Completely up to you. But it's a really good activity to get you thinking about those numbers to 20. So pause me now and have a little go at this number web activity and see how you get on. Okay, right. Well, I hope you had lots of fun making your number webs. And again, I can't wait to see if you want to send us some photos of those number webs. We'd love to see them. And as I said, we're learning about fractions this week, and we're going to be talking step by step all about fractions. What are fractions? What are halves? And what are quarters? So by the end of this week, we should know the answers to all those questions. So let's start with, what is a fraction? Well, a fraction is where a whole is divided into equal parts. That is a fraction. So down here, I've got my cake, my yummy cakes making me feel very hungry. Here is my whole cake. Okay, it's whole, my whole cake. But then my boys love a bit of cake. They've come along and they want half for themselves. So they take away half and eat it. So now, oh, I've had to cut the cake into 2 equal parts so I can give my boys half. So now instead of having a whole cake, I've now got 2 equal parts, 2 halves. And this is what a fraction is, okay? It's when we take something whole, like this whole cake, and we divide it into equal parts, okay? So this is the whole, and this is the fraction of the whole. We've divided it into halves. So that is what a fraction is. Okay, so I'm just going to put my whole cake back together. There we go. So moving on, we're going to have a look at some objects today that can be split into equal parts. So I've just snipped a few pictures here that can be split into equal parts. So I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, so for example, if I start over here, and actually this is at a funny angle, so I'm just going to change it so it's round the right way. There we go. So for example, I've got a piece of paper here, and I can split my piece of paper into 2 equal parts. So I'm going to get my line, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, so I could split my piece of paper into 2 equal parts. So I just might move that over a little bit so it definitely looks equal. There we go. So now I've got my piece of paper, and I've got 1, 2 equal parts. This part is the same as this part. I might just move over a little bit more. Okay, so this part is the same as this part. Oh, I've got a lovely juicy apple here. So if I get my line again, I can take my whole apple here. I've got a whole apple. And if I wanted to split my apple into equal parts, 2 equal parts, and give half to somebody else, I could do that. So now I've got equal parts. This part is equal to this part. Okay. Oh, I've got a lovely triangle here, a whole triangle. And if I wanted to, I can split my triangle into 2 equal parts. This part is the same as this part. This is 1 of 2 equal parts. This is 1 of 2 equal parts. Oh, and lastly, I've got my star. So here we go. You guessed it. I'm going to split my star into 2 equal parts. Here we go. So I've now got 1 equal part here and 1 equal part here. I've got 2 equal parts. So these are objects that I've split into equal parts. Now, in Miles' class, we do something called talking into a cave. And sometimes they're my cave and I say something and they have to be my echo and they echo back what I've just said. So I'm just going to say something and I want you at home just to say it back to me. So you're learning these words that we use when we talk about fractions. Okay. So I just want you to say the word equal parts. Okay. Let's try that again. Equal parts. Didn't quite hear you. Equal parts. Excellent. Okay. I'd like you to say this as well. Half is 1 of 2 equal parts. I'll say that again because it's quite long. Half is 1 of 2 equal parts. Okay. Again, you can pause and replay me to get this language going because it's really, really important when we talk about fractions. Okay, so we've had a good think about objects that can be split into equal parts. Now, very quickly, going to think about what unequal looks like. Okay, so again, I've got the same objects as last time, but we're going to think about something called unequal. Now, I'd just like you to have a think with your grown-up. What do you think unequal means? equal meant the same, but what do you think unequal means? Have a little chat with your grown up or who's somebody who's working with you. What do we think we mean unequal? What does that mean? Okay, I'm going to show you what unequal means and see if it matches up with what you thought. So I'm going to get my magic line again. Here we go. And here's my piece of paper. And if I draw a line here, if I split my paper up here, I've split it into two parts. But can you see, is this part the same as this part? Or is it different? It looks different to me. And that's what we call unequal. Because the parts are different sizes, we say they are unequal because this part is not the same as this part over here. So it's the same here. I could draw a line on my apple and split it up into two parts. Okay. Oh, I've got two parts, but they are unequal. They are not the same. I'm going to do the same thing over here to my triangle and my star over here. And I'd just like you to have a little look at these unequal parts because they are not the same. Okay, it means unequal means not the same. So there we go. That's what unequal means. Right, moving on. We're just going to have a little look here. And I've made you a little table just to show you what this means. So we've got equal parts on this side and unequal parts. And I'm very quickly, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line on my apple because you're going to have a go at this with a piece of paper. On my apple, I'm just going to draw a line. Here we go. Oh, that doesn't look quite right. I think I may have got my equal and unequal mixed up. There we go. I need to move that over. Here we go. So I've put a line for equal parts. So I've put my apples in two parts. This part is the same as this part. Okay, I'm going to do the same over here for my apple here for unequal to show you the difference. Okay, with your grown-up, can you just have a little think about what is the same about these two apples and what is different? Have a little chat. What's the same and what is different? Well, hopefully after your little chat, you've thought that actually this apple, there's two parts, but each part is the same. And there are two parts of this apple, but they're different sizes. They're not the same, they're unequal. Okay, so hopefully that is what you've talked about. Now, what you can do is you can get yourself a piece of paper and you can try this at home. So if you get yourself a piece of any size paper and really try carefully to fold it in half as carefully as you can and open it back up. And then hopefully you will see that you've made two equal parts and you can draw a line down your paper to make those equal parts. Same thing, you can get another piece of paper and fold it so that you can make unequal parts and draw a line. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to have a go at that. Get a piece of paper and fold it exactly in half. And you might need to go out to help you do that. Open it back up and you'll hopefully find that you've made two equal parts. And you can draw a line where your fold is. And you could do the same for paper and fold it unequally and just compare and have a look. So have a few minutes doing that and see what you find out with your paper shapes. Okay, moving on. This is the task for today. This is what we would like you to do with fractions today. And it's quite a fun one. I had fun doing this, fun making this one up for you. And we'd like you to have a go at making a fraction poster. And it's really, really quite a lovely thing to do because what you've got to do, the first thing is to go and have a really good look around your house for different objects you think could be split in half equally. Okay, now, as you can see from my photo, I had a really good time doing this. And very quickly, I found this, which is a lovely hanging decoration in my house. I found an apple from my fruit bowl. I went to my fridge and I found some magnets. Okay, so I took some magnets off of my fridge, which I thought, they look interesting. I might have a look at those. And then I found my children's toys and I chose something from my children's toys that I found that I thought could split in half equally. And then what I've done is I've drawn a poster. Now you could do this on paper. I had a whiteboard and pen at home, so I just did it on whiteboard and pen. But feel free to do it on paper or whatever you've got at home. And then I've just drawn the shapes that I found. Now, some of mine actually, I could have drawn round these ones. If I wasn't confident in drawing them myself, I could have drawn round these, but I had to go at drawing them myself. And then can you see in red, I've actually drawn a line to show where my shapes have been equally split into two parts. Okay. And then on here, I'll leave this one with you. I've drawn around one of my shapes and I don't think I have split it into two equal parts. But what do you think? I think one of my shapes looks a bit odd on this poster. One of my shapes looks a bit odd, but I'll leave that to you to have a think about that. Okay, so you're going to have a go at making your own fraction poster today. And level one is just to look for the objects. And if you want to, you can just chat about those objects. Oh, could we split that in half? Now, obviously this is, I love this decoration. I wouldn't really want to actually split it in half. But if I really, really wanted to, okay, I could do that. Okay, but my apple, for example, if I wanted to, I could actually have a go at splitting that in half. So if you do find things that you can actually split in half, just to see what it looks like, to make the two equal parts, then please do, because it's a really good thing to do to really understand about fractions, that we've got a whole apple, something whole, and that we can split it into two equal parts. Okay, if you want a bit more challenge, so level two, can you have a go at splitting any of your objects into unequal parts? I think I've had a go at that on my poster, but again, I'm going to leave that with you. So that's today's task. I hope you have fun doing it, and we can't wait to see your fraction posters. And I shall be back tomorrow to talk to you a little bit more about fractions. Again, I will post for you some links to videos online and other sheets if you need them, if you feel that you need a little bit more input on fractions. I will do that for you, and they'll be with you alongside this session. But I hope you have fun today, and I shall see you again tomorrow. Right, I shall unshare screen so I can say goodbye. Okay, I shall see you tomorrow for another input on fractions. Have a lovely day. See you later.